afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am pitching my podcast to you today. So, taking inspiration from last year on mine and Victor's podcast, Small Talk, I'll be reviving the title of the second episode for this year. I'm not going to copy and...
Not that looks familiar.
Yeah. I'm obviously not going to copy and paste everything. I'm going to keep...
Level 4.
I'm obviously going to keep the name, redo the logo, redo everything from fresh. But obviously I quite like the name Small Talk because it's, you know... So my podcast is going to be about men's mental health. So obviously this podcast is going to be talking about and exploring a deeper meaning into men's mental health, specifically in heterosexual, bi, trans, and bisexual men. I'm going to incorporate statistics into this matter to show how much of a vast percentage of males actually struggle, more so if they're gay or bi. Sometimes mental health can be so minimal it has no effect on someone's life, but obviously in more extreme cases they've got high levels of anxiety, depression, paranoia, and unfortunately this can lead to suicide, which is not good. I want to share the word to other like-minded males that obviously it's okay to talk it out. You know, there's people out there that you can go to for help, other people you can talk to, and the question I want to answer for this podcast is, why do younger males feel like they cannot talk it out, and why can't they express their feelings and emotions? Initial research into the men's mental health instantly gave me a deeper insight to how much of a large percentage of these gay bisexual men suffer issues regarding mental health. Having been in a similar situation, seeing these facts myself immediately reassured me that I'm not alone out there, which is nice to know. And I think it's important to spread the message to give other people help and advice and obviously potentially save a life. Other research into other podcasts, I quickly found out there's a lot out there that have similar topics. So Man Up, Talking Like a Man, Detoxicity for Men, About Men for Everyone. These are all podcasts that go into men's mental health and they talk about stuff, you know. But I didn't find too much specifically for a younger audience, so I want to target 16 to 34-year-olds and make sure that, you know, it's kind of a university thing, so young people need to know that it's okay. My working methodology. So to begin with the podcast, I'm going to start introducing myself. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, my story, and after that I want to lead into having some guest speakers on, and I'm going to have an interview and or vox pops, but obviously I'll go into that in a minute about the vox pops. And I'm going to finish with the rest of my story and then hopefully answer the podcast question and then have the happy ending. My anticipated outcome to create a podcast for other men out there who struggle to share their feelings and emotions, I want to send a clear message that it's okay to explore these emotions and, you know, let it out. Because obviously if you build up these emotions to immeasurable levels, it can cause high levels of depression, paranoia, anxiety, and potentially even suicide, which is one of the biggest killers in men. The podcast will be distributed publicly as a digital MP3 format, but I will accompany that with visual waveforms, subtitles, as you've seen before, so it keeps the listeners engaged. Required resources. I shouldn't need many resources since most of it will be digital, but if I was to go out and perform a vox pop, I'll need a H5 Zoom recorder and a shotgun or a boom mic. So my proposed time scale and schedule, obviously today we're pitching. I have a timeline that I'm going to plan out to basically elaborate this. 11th of November I'll start doing my own jingles, get all that sound effects going, find some content. 18th of November I want to interview someone, get some guest speakers on, start recording all that. November 25th I want to have mainly all of the audio recorded and then potentially do the vox pop at the same time. 2nd of December I want to finalise the podcast, producing visual waveforms to accompany the audio. And then I want to complete by the 9th of December, just in case I need to get some more content quickly, a little bit more audio, just in case something's gone wrong. Financial requirements. As far as financial requirements go, money is not going to be an issue. I'll be using the university resources free of charge, and it's very unlikely I'm going to need to spend that much money. However, obviously me and Paulie's had a chat about the ethical side to one of the podcasts about the men's mental health, which I'll mention in a minute. But I might offer some sort of an incentive, some sort of confectionery to offer people to come and take a few minutes of their time so I can talk about some mental health with some of the blokes. Relevant permissions. In terms of permissions, I'll need permissions from my interviewees and guests, obviously the participant forms, and get them to sign that, but they're fully aware that they're going to be signing these forms, they know that. As far as the Vox Pops go, I can't exactly just run up to people in the street and say, excuse me sir, do you have mental health? Because that's not exactly as ethically horribly bad. So obviously I'm going to create some sort of form and say, oh, you know, come and chat with me for a few minutes, I'll give you some chocolate. Sign the form so I can upload this stuff publicly, because, you know, I can't not do that. Back to the ethical considerations. It's a sensitive area. I can't just run it to people, like I said, and just ask about their bloody mental health. But I'm going to try and find a quiet spot on campus and obviously say, oh, can I take a few minutes of your time? You can earn some chocolate and talk about how you're feeling today. Talk to me, chat it out, no problem. I'll get them to sign the form and then, yeah. Risk assessment, I mean, I shouldn't really particularly need one. I mean, if I'm running around with a microphone, you know, if someone trips over it, for example, I might need, you know, but, yeah. Any questions?
What kind of chocolate?
Oh.
Just in case you want to stop on it, yes.
Specifically, the first thing that came to mind was Kit Kat Chunky.
If it's not Snickers, yeah. If it's not Snickers, or expect.
Right, I'll get some Snickers, I'll get some Kit Kat Chunkies. Celebrations, yeah, that's it. Oh, no, I think people would want more of a whole chocolate bar than like a little ditty.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, I've got to treat them if they're going to talk about their mental health kind of thing, but yeah.
Snickers is the most important bit of your presentation that people want to know about is what chocolate they get if they're in your podcast.
I'm going to have like a little selection box.
I'll happily be in your podcast with that chocolate.
Oh, Sam, excellent.
I still want some.
I'll get you a Snickers anyway then. Sam, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.